Coevolution is the process of two organisms evolving in response to each other. Coevolution can happen between animals or between plants and animals. These evolutionary changes happen slowly over time. Many studies have been done on the process of coevolution. If you look closely, you can see the correlation and connection between the evolution of two species. Coevolution can occur between competing species, predator and prey, parasite and host, herbivores and plants, etc. When species co-evolve, they develop traits that, in some way, benefit survival. Plants evolve to appeal more to herbivore animals that can spread their seeds. Prey animals evolve and adapt to defend against or evade predators, and predators evolve simultaneously to overcome prey's new defenses. A common example of coevolution is the relationship between plants and insects, specifically plants and their pollinators. Many plants have evolved to be reliant on a specific insect species for pollination, and those insects evolved to be especially designed for pollinating that specific plant. Coevolution has been happening for millions of years. In the Mesozoic era, coevolution can be observed in multiple areas. There is some evidence of coevolution between herbivore dinosaurs and plants, and between predator and prey dinosaurs. Herbivore dinosaurs, especially sauropods, seem to have evolved alongside one of their primary food sources, cycads. Prey dinosaurs, primarily armored dinosaurs, seem to have evolved along with their predators, theropod dinosaurs. Coevolution in the Mesozoic era is one of many fascinating aspects of the dinosaur world. To explore one example of coevolution in the Mesozoic, one can look at the relationship between herbivorous dinosaurs and cycads. During the Mesozoic, cycads were an extremely diverse type of vegetation that made up 20% of the world's flora during the Jurassic and Triassic. Mesozoic cycads featured large, compound leaves and occasionally thick, woody trunks. They had slender, sometimes branched stems. They differ from modern cycads since the leaves weren't as densely packed at the top of the plant. Cycads are considered part of the gymnosperms, meaning they have exposed seeds. Speaking of seeds, they had a lot of them. Each seed cone had up to 500 plus seeds. Each seed was a starchy kernel encased in fleshy sarcotesta, a seed coat that is often colorful and is used to attract animals to eat it. A well-known example is the flesh surrounding pomegranate seeds. The kernels contained high levels of toxins, contrasting the sweet taste of the sarcotesta. Despite the toxicity, the kernel is protected by a resistant coating known as the sclerotesta. This ensures the safe passage of the seed through a host's digestive tract. Dinosaurs, especially sauropods and prosauropods, were a main contributor to the distribution of cycad seeds. Their ability to consume many seeds at a time, as well as their inability to chew, made them key in seed dispersal. This relationship obviously struggled at the end of the Mesozoic. The population of cycads took a hit after the extinction of dinosaurs. The simultaneous emergence of large populations of cycads and herbivorous dinosaurs during the Triassic suggests they went through coevolution. Cycads favor larger animals that can ingest their seeds without chewing them. Undigested seeds excreted in fecal matter has the benefit of being exposed to new habitats and having nutrients from the excrement. Sauropods were favored for their large size and lack of chewing. Dinosaurs benefited by having a nutritious food source as well as the assurance of further cycads being planted due to their assistance in distribution. Due to the diversity in heights of dinosaurs, cycads developed easier ways for certain animals to get to them. Cycad seeds were positioned in ways that made them easier to access by large, browsing herbivores. As herbivores became more diverse and evolved, cycads evolved with them. The properties of cycads likely evolved to attract consumption by prosauropods, sauropods, and stegosaurs. This symbiotic relationship was enhanced by prosauropods and sauropods using gastroliths to erode unchewed matter, which is best suited to promote cycad population growth. We can also see evidence of coevolution by looking at predator dinosaurs and prey dinosaurs, especially between ankylosaurs and theropods. An ankylosaur is an ornithischian dinosaur with diverse defensive traits, including a clubbed tail and lightweight armor. A theropod is a saurischian dinosaur with hollow bones, 3 main toes on the feet, and sharp recurved teeth. One of the longer-standing hypotheses in coevolution implies that armament, like ankylosaurs with tail clubs and lightweight armor, is a direct result of the predator-prey relationship between theropods and ankylosaurians. This hypothesis suggests that predatory pressures from theropoda drive the evolution of armament. Two tests are used to determine this hypothesis: a phylogenetic test using parafit to test for the significance of concurrence between the taxa, and a regression analysis of the morphological traits of the taxa to be used as supporting data for the phylogenetic analysis. A parafit is a test that analyzes the likelihood of the host and parasite network will have co-evolved given their phylogenies. The test results indicate that there is evolutionary concordance between Ankylosauria and Theropoda and rejects the null hypothesis that there is no link between their respective diversification patterns. However, it is important to note that as ankylosaurs and theropods are concurrent across time and space, it is possible that significant associations represent a common cause, such as tracking similar environments. This would mean that standard predator-prey interactions occur without true coevolution. To combat this, the parafit test between Hadrosauridae and Theropoda demonstrates that similar environmental co-occurrence is not enough to recover a significant association. The test between Ankylosauria and Theropoda produced a significant global test. The results for their pairwise interactions are plotted on figures 1 and 2. These are the result of the parafit test with all concurrent theropod and ankylosaur species. The black lines represent insignificant co-occurrence. The red lines represent a significant co-occurrence. Tyrannosauridae sees a diversification around the point that the Ankylosaurus tail club sees enlargement horizontally. This represents the results of the parafit test excluding Maniraptora and Coelophysis. Black lines represent insignificant co-occurrence, red lines represent significant co-occurrence. Results of phylogenetic parafit analysis reveal association between the two, most notably the significant association between the clades Ankylosaurinae and Tyrannosauridae. This is a plot of PCO1 and PCO2. Black dots represent the outgroup. Green dots represent the pre-nodosaur/ankylosaur split. The blue represents nodosaurs. Red represents ankylosaurids. Magenta represents the Ankylosaurinae, and purple represents Ankylosaurini. If Ankylosaurinae arose in response to predation pressures from Tyrannosauridae, it would explain their high PCOA scores. A Pearson correlation coefficient test of the data shows that there is a positive moderate correlation between increased ankylosaur armament and theropod body mass. However, body mass is both reasonable and problematic. Given that you require large predators to successfully predate larger prey and larger body size is equitable to an increased weight, theropod weight can be considered a reasonable proxy for a theropod offensive phenotype. Over time, however, there is a general trend towards increasing size in Dinosauria, meaning that correlated size could have occurred in response to a clade other than Ankylosauria. In conclusion, the results support coevolutionary interactions between Ankylosaurus and theropods. The results imply reciprocity, although we cannot definitively state it here. The results support a relationship between the evolutionary histories of some ankylosaurs and theropods that does not occur with other concurrent clades. This leads us to support a coevolutionary relationship between these two clades. Overall, coevolution was important for dinosaur life. Herbivore dinosaurs and cycads had a mutually beneficial relationship that developed further through coevolution. Theropods and ankylosaurs had a predator-prey relationship that seems to have pushed both of them to evolve in some way. Coevolution in the Mesozoic era is one of many fascinating aspects of the dinosaur world.